Coming up next, a potentially deadly virus carried by mosquitoes is now in 3 Pennsylvania counties. We have the latest information.
Plus, hundreds turned out in State College for an event demanding action by local, national, and international politicians on an issue they say is now a crisis.
It matters to show up. It matters to be a part of supporting a movement that affects everyone on the planet.
And an update on the latest Penn State fraternity shutdown and why it happened. The Center County Report starts now.
Good afternoon, I'm Erin Kemp.
And I'm Nicole Ambrish. Thanks for joining us. We begin with a health alert. A rare and potentially deadly virus transmitted by mosquitoes is now confirmed in 3 Pennsylvania counties. The state has issued a warning after confirming eastern equine encephalitis in Carbon and Monroe counties in eastern PA and Erie County in the western part of the state. The virus is carried by birds and mosquitoes can transmit it to humans. It's fatal in about 30% of human cases.
World leaders have wrapped up their climate change summit meetings at the United Nations in New York. They met yesterday at the UN to talk about ways to prevent warming temperatures and other changes from doing more damage to the planet. President Trump made a stop at the meeting but did not speak. Some outside experts said they heard a lot of talk at the conference, but no promised action to keep future warming to a few tenths of a degree.
3 days before the UN Climate Summit, hundreds turned out in a state college for a so-called climate strike event to demand action. Reporter Will Desitel takes a closer look at this event.
The climate strike last Friday drew hundreds of people from a variety of generations, but these people of different ages united for one common purpose: to demand climate action be taken immediately by local, national, and global politicians.
It matters to show up. It matters to be a part of supporting a movement that affects everyone on the planet.
These protests took place not just here, but all over the world. In fact, these climate change protests were organized on this day in over 150 different countries.
The idea is that we need 3.5% of the population to get together, and that number will be enough to start to influence policy.
Penn State student organizations arranged marches across campus and gave plenty of volunteer speakers the opportunity to address the public. About 15 different people have come out here to the Old Main Steps to give speeches, followed by a minute and a half of silence representing this organization's goal of keeping climate change under 1.5 degrees Celsius. One student spoke about how a successful economy can be achieved while also maintaining a healthy environment.
I think often you see economics and climate ethics kind of shown as like opposing forces, where it's like, well, we can either have a great economy or a healthy world, but not both. And that's absolutely untrue.
Stand up for what you believe in.
Adams added that it is becoming easier to be profitable while also being green, and that finding this balance is critical. In University Park, I'm Will Desitel for the Center County Report.
Despite drawing a couple hundred people to the event, some participants said they are disappointed with the turnout, saying a lot more people need to join the movement in order to truly make a difference.
A Penn State fraternity has lost its charter after an investigation into behavior issues and university policy violations. It's the latest in a string of problems for Greek organizations at University Park. Reporter Talia Chirello is live in State College with more on this story. Talia?
Behind me is the former Sigma Alpha Mu fraternity house on East Prospect Avenue. The Greek letters are now off the house after its parent international fraternity revoked the charter for the Penn State chapter this month. The university had already suspended recognition of the fraternity more than 2 years ago.
Members called it SAMI, the Sigma Alpha Mu fraternity. The chapter had its recognition stripped by Penn State in 2017 after the university reported multiple violations. But the international fraternity allowed the former chapter to continue operating, and Penn State says former members continue to live at the house in violation of a borough ordinance that requires university recognition of a frat for a chapter to operate a house in State College. That law has been challenged in court. The university says ongoing issues at the house caused the international organization to finally shut down the chapter, but the building is privately owned, which Penn State says limits what it can do. Student Affairs VP Damon Sims told us in a statement, quote, "If the parent organizations allow them to exist and function, regardless of our judgment that they should not, there's little we can do other than share what we know with the community and warn students against participating with these groups in the various ways they might." It's the latest in a series of Greek life issues at Penn State and comes after the 2017 death of student Tim Piazza. The fraternity he was pledging when he died, Beta Theta Pi, was later shut down. Greek reform measures supported by Penn State went into effect that same year.
Pennsylvania passed the Tim Piazza anti-hazing law last year. All organizations whose members are primarily students are subject to the law, which establishes a tiered penalty system with increased penalties for hazing. Live in State College, I'm Talia Torello for the Center County Report.
Thanks, Talia. For many, Penn State is known for its drinking culture, and in a new national report, State College has been labeled the drunkest city in the state. That list comes from the website 24/7 Wall Street. It says more than 23% of adults in State College claim they binge or drink heavily, and 22% of the deaths have been drinking and driving related. The website has ranked State College the drunkest city in Pennsylvania before in 2016 and 2017. In 2015, East Stroudsburg held the top spot.
Some businesses in State College will be forced to move or close down soon because of a decision Penn State University just made. Reporter Maria Coyne shows you what's happening on Atherton Street.
I love the location and I love the people. Everybody in State College, they're all wonderful people. It's a beautiful town.
David Gadiska owns Lion Antiques. This storefront on North Atherton Street has been home to his business for 14 years, but soon he'll need to close up shop and move elsewhere.
Maybe possibly looking for another location there or moving everything to our Whitehall store, Eastern Pennsylvania, temporarily so we can reorganize.
Lion Antiques and 2 other North Atherton businesses will close their doors at the end of this year. Rainbow Music and Surge Business Development are the others. They were notified by Penn State that their leases won't be renewed. The university owns the buildings and needs extra space during campus construction. Office of Physical Plant spokesperson Trey Miller told us, quote, "While there are no specific long-term construction plans currently for the site, Penn State developed a need for the use of the property due to upcoming construction plans on campus that require additional flex space." The Atherton space has been owned by the university for 13 years. Rainbow Music, which has been here since 2007, announced on Facebook the store will officially close December 31st. The building has signs that read, "Store is closing, everything must go," with reduced prices on guitars, amplifiers, drum supplies, and more. As for David Gadiska, he is staying positive about what's ahead.
I like to be positive about everything, move on, and that's the way it is. I mean, we had fun when we were there. Things cannot last forever.
In State College, I'm Maria Coyne for the Center County Report.
Pennsylvania's job numbers remain strong as payrolls increased to record-breaking levels in August. The state says PA's unemployment rate remained at 3.9%. That's just 1/10 of a percentage point above the lowest rate in PA history. The records go back to 1976. The national unemployment rate was 3.7% in August.
Despite the good job numbers, some experts believe changes may be coming. A recent Duke University survey says more than half of American chief financial officers expect a recession within the next year. For soon-to-be college graduates, that can make their job searches a lot tougher. We caught up with students at Penn State's Fall Career Days to talk about jobs.
Most college students working on their degree are hoping to get a job after graduation, but that possibility could be at risk if a recession becomes reality.
It means less hours, less pay. Like, just not a lot of fields are going to be as in demand as they were before the recession, you know?
Jocelyn Rabb chose Penn State in part because she hopes its huge alumni network and those connections can help her jumpstart her career.
I have a relative actually that came out of Penn State, and he actually got a really good job out of this. So I'm just expecting the same thing to happen to me.
Despite the threat of a recession looming, employers here at the Bryce Jordan Center today were full of hope of a future full of opportunities.
We are trying to do a lot of workforce planning. And so when we're bringing in an intern, we're really thinking about availability in 3 to 5 years from now.
Kelly Jo McNeamer graduated during a recession herself and said having experiences outside of her degree, like volunteer work, helped her to get a job during that tough time.
that's the kind of experience that will be invaluable on your resume. And it's really helped me to launch into a career that I never thought I would have because I learned so much.
McNemar said at her company, Dominion Energy, they aim for stability within their positions.
Overall, business spending is expected to increase to just 0.6%, down from a projected 8%.
Some showers moved through central Pennsylvania last night. Are we back to sunshine for the rest of the week? We'll have the weather update coming up.
And a local event honored members of the military who never came home. Also coming up, a nonprofit in State College had some unusual visitors at its store over the weekend. We'll have that and much more after the break.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Get caught buzz driving, and you could do some hard time.
Craig, knock it off.
Sorry, Mom. It could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. And that could set you back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
I can't change, even if I tried, even if I wanted to.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape.
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent.
We will no longer be the silent majority. Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're going to take action with the I.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
'Cause I'm gonna stand by you.
Penn State honored U.S. military prisoners of war and those missing in action during a special event on campus. ROTC members and the Arnold Air Society held a 24-hour vigil and remembrance ceremony for National POW MIA Recognition Day. The vigil was held Friday at Old Main and featured the Missing Man table, a tradition that includes empty chairs symbolizing those who never returned home. Penn State ROTC members stood watch over the table for 24 hours.
I think it's our nation's responsibility and kind of like bring awareness to those people that fought for our country and gave the ultimate sacrifice for us and for our nation.
Created in 1979 with the help of President Jimmy Carter. Since then, communities across America spend the third Friday of September remembering and honoring the men and women held captive or never returned home.
The controversy of vaping nationwide continues to grow. More than 500 have now been diagnosed with vaping-related sickness. The Trump administration is proposing a ban on flavored e-cigarettes to combat what the FDA is describing as an epidemic. The FDA believes e-cigarette companies like Juul that have flavored e-cigarette pods such as cream and mango can attract minors and is leading to a health crisis. Vaping illnesses are already blamed for at least 8 deaths in the United States. Many see a ban as a good way to combat e-cig use by kids.
I think it's good for the youth because Juul is intended to help smokers quit. And with the youth using the flavored Juul pods, I think it's kind of detrimental to their health.
Juul says it's willing to cooperate with the FDA to fix the problem. So far, Michigan and New York State have banned flavored e-cigs, as well as Boulder, Colorado, and San Francisco, California. Walmart also announced it's no longer selling e-cigs. Pennsylvania public school students may soon be allowed to apply personal finance class credits for graduation requirements. The state approved the bill yesterday and sent it to the House. Under the bill, a student who completes a high school course in personal finance will be allowed to apply up to 1 credit toward graduation requirements. Supporters say students should be encouraged to learn more about making good financial choices.
The second annual Tessie Mountain Food Truck Fest happened on Sunday in Boalsburg. The event coincided with the Rock Roth Trail Fest, a fundraiser for the Friends of Rothrock State Park. 6 different truck vendors were there, including Brazilian Munchies, Tacos Incorporated, and Rosie's Pierogies. It all started at 9 a.m. with outdoor activities and wrapped up later that afternoon. The Percolators and the Crooked Line performed live music, and beer was available for purchase. A few outdoor retail shops also set up pop-up shops for people attending.
Hey everyone, thanks again for joining us. I'm student meteorologist Casey Rigner, and there's not much going on right now across Pennsylvania for the radar and satellite, but that was a different story about 24 hours ago. This cold front associated with this low off the coast of Maine brought some showers and thunderstorms for much of the mid-Atlantic and as well as the Northeast. Right now, I love to see this. These clouds are still working their way out of the area. Temperatures right now, 66 degrees here in State College with a northwest wind at 10 miles per hour. Temperatures across the rest of the region, mid-60s, starting to get a little bit closer to 70 degrees. Across the rest of the Commonwealth, Erie has a little bit of a lake breeze, 67 degrees, 61 in Bradford as well as Johnstown, a little bit warmer down in the southeast, 75 for Harrisburg and 74 for Philadelphia. Looking at the Futurecast model, let me track out the next couple of days for you. It's going to be dry for the remainder of the day today. Overnight tonight, it's going to continue to clear out. And for much of the day on Wednesday, it's going to be clear due to a high pressure that's located to our south. Now you can see this cold front is starting to approach the state, and that may bring some showers for northwest Pennsylvania on Thursday, very, very early Thursday morning. This is 4:30 a.m. Just some spotty showers. This is by no means going to be a washout. It's sort of a weaker front, but I don't want to rule out a stray shower or two here in central Pennsylvania. And then, so today, it's going to be a gorgeous day, a fall-like day, 70 degrees. Those clouds are going to continue to clear out. Northwest wind at 5 to 10. It may even be breezy at times with gusts possible up to 20 miles per hour. It's going to cool off tonight. Temperatures are seasonable. It's the second official day of fall, so these average high and low temperatures are continue to get lower and lower as we head over the next couple of months. That's not going to be the case for tomorrow. High pressure will have above average temperatures, 76 degrees. That wind shifts to the south, bringing in those warmer temperatures for tomorrow. Now, the next 7 days after this front passes, it's going to be a gorgeous Friday, high pressure in the region once again, 75 degrees and sunny. If you have some outdoor plans, Friday is going to be a perfect day to do so. But then by Saturday, we have another cold front, so we may have some few showers on Saturday. Otherwise, the beginning of next work week is going to be beautiful. Temperatures still above average in the upper 70s. A pretty warm start to the first week of fall.
Good thing we don't have football games here Saturday. Speaking of sports, we throw it to Maria.
Here's Maria Coyne with sports.
Penn State volleyball suffered a stunning loss over the weekend before bouncing back against a Pennsylvania rival. That's next in sports. Also coming up, high school football. We'll take you to Tyrone for highlights from their game against Bellefonte. Stick with us.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How do you not love him?
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster.
but I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
I'm Maria Coyne with sports. The Penn State-Pitt rivalry continued over the weekend, but not on the football field. This time, it was on the volleyball court, starting with the match and a stunning loss at Rec Hall. Reporter Emerald Baptiste was there.
On Friday night, the fourth-ranked Penn State's women's volleyball team lost to number 6 Pitt in a rivalry match at Rec Hall. The Nittany Lions were defeated 3-0 against the Panthers, falling 6-2 on the season. Tonight was the first time Pitt swept Penn State since 1987. Johnny Parker, also known as number 9, was the star player on Friday night, earning 13 kills, 3 blocks, and 4 digs.
For our effort, that's what we need from everybody, every single point of every match.
The Panthers won the first set 25-17. They followed up winning the second set 25-21, and the Pitt Panthers dominated the Nittany Lions in all 3 sets, leaving the last set 25-23. Russ Rose, women's volleyball head coach, was disappointed in his team's performance, but he takes his loss as a learning lesson.
Well, I'm disappointed in how we played, but I thought that Pittsburgh played very well.
With a devastating loss for Penn State, they will have a chance to strike back again on Sunday afternoon. The Nittany Lions rematched the Panthers on Sunday afternoon, winning 3-2. Penn State is back at Rec Hall on Wednesday night at 8 p.m. against Michigan State. You can find the game on FS1. In State College, I'm Emerald Baptiste for the Center County Report.
And after Wednesday's match, the Nittany Lions have another home game this weekend on Saturday against Rutgers. Headed to high school football now, the Bellefonte Red Raiders are at home this week against Clearfield, but on Friday they took on the Tyrone Golden Eagles in a conference matchup. Led by the rushing attack, the Raiders jumped out to a 21-2 lead in the first half at Tyrone, and Bellefonte didn't let up in the second half as they blew out the Golden Eagles 55-10. The Raiders rushed for 498 yards, led by the duo of Jacob Hummel and CJ Funk, who combined for 260 yards on just 14 carries. Also on Friday, State College High won by 10 at Chambersburg. The Penn State women's soccer team got back in a winning track this weekend against Michigan State, just in time to hit the road this week. At Jeffrey Field on Sunday, Michigan State struck first with a goal off a penalty kick. But then Allie Schlegel put the Nittany Lions on the board, tying the game with her 7th goal of the season. The Lions led going into a halftime with a goal by Peyton Lenahan and an assist by Frankie Taliaferri. Devin Olive scored her first career goal, leading the Lions to a 5-1 win. Penn State heads to the Midwest next for games next weekend against Minnesota on Friday and Wisconsin on Sunday. That's all for sports. Now back to you at the anchor desk.
Thanks, Maria. Coming up next, alpacas took over a local store, but I don't think anyone seemed to mind. Find out what this event was all about after the break.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised.
Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
I rescued Toast from a shelter in 2011. I love Toast because she's a lazy diva. Toast does whatever she wants, obviously. She's sleeping right now. She's an epic snuggler. She's so comforting. She's so loving. Toast makes me laugh. When I walked into the shelter, I knew right then that she was special.
Okay, Simon, what do people wear?
Clothes.
That's right. So it's important to learn how to dress yourself. Here's how it's done.
Shirt, underwear, pants, socks, shoes. Underwear, always first, name tag on the back. Then pants and shirt. Go ahead and put this on. Now with the shirt, you want to make sure the first button's right or you have to start all over again, okay? Socks left on left, right on right. Tying the shoes, we're going to take the laces, we're going to cross them over, we're going to turn around where the bunny goes down in the hole, pull it tight, and bunny ears. Got it?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
A State College nonprofit store celebrated the one-year anniversary of its South Atherton location with a fun day for the whole family over the weekend. 10,000 Villages is a nonprofit retail organization that focuses on developing fair trade relationships with artists in third world countries. The store celebrated its milestone with an event called Alpacas Take Over the Village. The animals were brought in from Warriors Mark's farm, and the miniature petting zoo allowed people to feed the alpacas and talk with some handlers. Store manager Kieran Holland said the goal of the event was to create an environment for community members to have fun while also learning about what 10,000 Villages is all about.
We always seek to be a pillar in our local community, and we have many alpaca goods from Peru, and we felt there was a natural overlap between the goods that we sell. We have a life-size toy alpaca, and then we also have many alpaca clothing and socks.
The organization has over 50 stores nationwide, including 14 locations in Pennsylvania.
That's all for today's newscast. You can find more of our stories on our website, centercountyreport.com.
And you can follow us anytime for breaking news on our Twitter feed, that's at Center County REP, or on our Facebook page. We also have a Center County Report Instagram. Join us for our next newscast on Friday. Have a great day.
Don't ignore the subtext. It's on us to intervene in sexual assault. Because we can. Take the pledge at itsonus.org.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
Was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
So that's not me. It's you. Thanks, Maria. Yeah.
Or if we want to put her on camera for the whole video. I'm sorry, C7. C7.
Okay. That's all for sports.
What was the one that we just needed to control audio? That's
The vaping one?
that's B3.
Yeah. Tamiya.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do we know what we're doing yet?
That's all for sports. Now back to you at the anchor desk.
And then B3 is for audio.
Yeah, everybody's ready.
That's all for sports. Now back to you at the anchor desk.
Thanks, Maria. Coming up next, alpacas took over a local store this weekend, but I don't think anyone really seemed to.
I'm looking whack. Is it anything we're doing? Okay. 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 Yep. That's all for sports. Now back to you at the anchor desk.
Thanks, Maria. Coming up next, alpacas took over a local store this weekend, but I don't think anyone really seemed to mind. Find out what this event was all about after the break.